Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be analyzing the song Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead from their album Kid A. So I'm just going to be going over three really interesting things that I found after analyzing this song and why I think it's such a great song. The first thing that's really interesting about this song is a technique that Radiohead uses in a lot of their songs, and it is the use of unconventional time signatures. So in this song in particular, the time signature is 10/4. Let's look at how they actually write the song so that it works in a 10/4 time signature. So it's really not just enough to just put 10/4 in your DAW or write it on the staff paper. You have to actually write the song in a way that feels and sounds like 10/4. And that's what this song is a really great example of. One of the ways that Radiohead accomplishes this 10/4 feel in Everything in Its Right Place is by the way that they create the rhythm, specifically in the chord progression that we start out with. It starts out on the downbeat, but then much of the chord progression, the notes are placed on upbeat eighth notes. In particular, it avoids the beat that would sound like the next downbeat if we were in 4/4, but we're not in 4/4. But they want to basically avoid emphasizing the beat that would make it sound like it's in 4/4, because that's what we normally expect to hear. And so unless they kind of go out of their way to really avoid emphasizing those particular beats, we might just otherwise hear it as 4/4 because that's just what we're so used to. And so instead, by shifting it to the upbeat eighth notes, it kind of extends out that feeling of resolution a little bit longer, so that we don't get that kind of feeling of resolution until a full 10 beats have elapsed. And so then we kind of start over that same rhythm again, and that's what creates that 10/4 feeling and really puts it as definitively written in 10/4. Let's go ahead and listen to an example of that with the metronome, just so that you can hear and see how that upbeat rhythm kind of creates that delayed gratification and really puts off that resolution until the end of the 10 beat sequence and really makes it feel like 10/4. The next key takeaway of why I think this song is really cool is the use of modal mixture, and in particular some interesting modes that we don't usually always hear. The chord progression in the verse goes C, C sharp major 7, and then C minor over D sharp. And that's kind of a one bar chord progression that fits into that 10 beat sequence that we just talked about. Doing a Roman numeral analysis from the tonic of C, we find a major 1, and then a flat 2, and then a minor 1 first inversion. So this is modal mixture because in the first part of the chord progression, we're essentially in C Ionian with that C major chord. But then as we move into the second part of the chord progression with the second and third chord, those are used from the C Phrygian mode. And so we get this modal mixture where each chord progression sequence, every bar, we're beginning in one mode and ending in another mode. It's cool to see that modal mixture in the verse. We also have modal mixture in the chorus. And what's different about the chorus is that instead of C Ionian and C Phrygian, then we move into F Ionian and F Aeolian. What's similar about this modal mixture in the chorus to the verse is that the switch between the F Ionian and the F Aeolian happens at exactly the same point within the measure as the switch between C Ionian and C Phrygian in the verse. So it's cool to see how there's some level of repetition and similarity, while at the same time there is variety by changing the actual, tonic and the modes used. Which brings us to the third key takeaway that I found by analyzing this song, which is the recontextualization of the same chord sequence from the perspective of different tonics. In the verse, just to review, our chord progression is C, C sharp major 7, and then C minor over D sharp. In the chorus, the chord progression just gets changed slightly by adding in an F chord at the beginning, but the overall feeling is completely different. So in the first half of the chorus, the chord progression becomes F, C, C sharp major 7, and then C minor over D sharp. With this change, we actually get a change of tonic, at least in the first half of the chorus. So back in the verse, the tonic was definitely in C, because we had this hypermetric emphasis on the C Ionian chord right at the beginning of the chord progression, And we also had a vocal melody that was mostly just singing on the note C, or just kind of around it, but really emphasizing the note C. So because of that, it really feels like the tonic is C in that verse section. Once we get to the first half of the chorus, we have basically those same factors that are now contributing towards the feeling of a tonic of F. So we have F inserted at the beginning of the chord progression in that hypermetrically emphasized location, and likewise with the melody, now the melody is very much focused on the note F, singing on F and around F and really emphasizing F. So now we get this definite shift in the tonic to F from the verse section to the first half of the chorus section. But notice that the rest of the chord progression has basically the same chords. It has that C, C sharp major 7, C minor over D sharp sequence, but now it's recontextualized into the key of F. So now that same chord progression that we heard earlier in C as 1, flat 2, minor 1 first inversion now becomes, with the inclusion of the F chord and the shift in the tonic, becomes a chord progression of 1, 5, flat 6, minor 5 first inversion. So I just think it's really cool how that same kind of like C, C sharp, C minor sequence can be reinterpreted from the perspective of a different tonic. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, I'm going to have a video right here you can check out. Thanks for watching and have a great day.